Alright, so I was planning on doing a Sonic Colors Ultimate walkthrough for this channel, but unfortunately, I kind of ended up being happy I didn't shortly after a personal playthrough. I want to talk about it. Hello, my fellow viewers and subscribers, and this is Supercholatemilkshake, and I am here, yes, as you know, to talk about Sonic Colors Ultimate. And honestly, part of it also kind of has to deal with damage control, but first of all, I'm going to say that I'm not going to blame Blind Squirrel Studios for this, okay? I think there's a lot of people out there who are, and they are not doing it with necessary, and I mean, there shouldn't be really any necessary need to, because these guys did put a lot of heart and soul out, and it does show inside the game. However, there's still a lot of polish that is just missing inside this game. A lot of features that were inside the original game that were stripped out, and a lot of bugs that just weren't in the original game at all. And, of course, well, that is a bit of a problem right there. However, when it comes down to it, again, I'm not blaming Blind Squirrel Studios for this, because, again, I know this is Sega's rushed, buggy launch. And, of course, when it comes down to it, well... This game is going to be very hard to do damage control for. And there's a reason why for this. I wasn't actually expecting this game to be so bad. Because, you know, if Sonic Colors Ultimate ended up being bad, at least we still have the original Wii version, right? Well, unfortunately, it ended up being so bad that people are now questioning the faith of Sega and, well, the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise as a video game franchise as a whole right now. Which honestly isn't very good. Yeah, it's Sonic 06 level. It's Sonic 06 levels of devastating. Because a lot of people were excited for it, a lot of people bought the game, and a lot of people bought the early access version. And once they got their hands on the early access version and then found out how buggy and glitchy the game was, kind of thinking that a lot of the reviewers lied because they didn't give anything harsh or critical about the bugs and the glitches or anything like that, well, let's just say shit hit the fan for Sega. Yeah. And unfortunately, damage control for this is going to be super, super hard. And the reason why is that, well, you actually don't have to look very far back to see proof. I mean, No Man's Sky, released as a broken, buggy game and didn't have all the features that they promised that it would have, right? Well, I hate to break it to you, but nobody's really playing that game right now. And nobody's really buying that game. Even if it's gotten way, way better, and they've released a numerous amount of patches that fix so many things, nobody's buying it because nobody wants to play No Man's Sky because of how broken and buggy and how bad the game was and how feature lacking it was. How about Cyberpunk 2077? Yeah, that game had so many glitches, so many bugs, it caused CD Projekt Red to lose money ultimately. Well, not just CD Projekt Red, but just CD Projekt in general. Which I do feel sorry for them for, but unfortunately I don't think they're going to be able to recoup from that. They're not going to be able to come back from that very easily. Not unless they decide to make like another Witcher game and decide to use the same exact technology that they've been using before, which then in that case, they might as well, because it's probably the safest bet. But for Sega, for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, this is probably somehow a little bit worse, mostly due to the fact that the 2010s have been seriously lacking. I mean, I can count on both hands how many games have came out within the past 10 years, which is really sad and disappointing to think about it. And, I mean, it's not like it's been Sega's fault, but they have been saying that they've been slowing down and taking their time, and yet they come out with a rushed, buggy mess like Sonic Colors Ultimate, where it feels like the game developers didn't have any more than 7 months to make the game. And, of course, they only got handed a lousy ISO file of the original game, which, of course, you know, come on, Sega. I bet you these guys would have also had to take less time if you would have gave them, you know what, you guys could have at least given them an HD model of Sonic. You could have given them an HD model of Tails, an HD model of Dr. Robotnik, and an HD model of both Orbot and QI. You could have given them those models. What on earth, Sega? What on earth are you thinking? What on earth are you doing, huh? And, you know, they also pushed a game out in a very buggy and glitchy state, and something tells me that they knew about this, too. Because when the early previews came out for journalists, Alex from Nintendo Life, you know, the early previews that were out in, like, 2 months before it was going to be coming out close to the end of, June, I think? No, July. So at the very end of July, there was like an early preview build, and Alex from Nintendo Life stated this. It was being streamed from another computer all the way around the world. You know, when I heard that, that set up a whole bunch of red flags, and I knew Sega was hiding something. I knew that Sega was clearly trying to hide something. And you know what? I was right. They were trying to hide how much of a broken, buggy mess it is. And yet, some of these reviewers didn't really necessarily give this game the reviews it kind of deserved, where honestly they were quoting about how buggy and broken it was. They all said it was great. I don't know if they actually got better copies than we did, or if we were the guinea pigs and they were actually just the ones that get the best copies, but either way, that doesn't really necessarily forgive Sega in any way, shape, or form. In fact, if anything, a marketing move like this just makes them look even worse. Yeah, Sega, you're losing a lot of faith with the fans here. I wasn't expecting it to be this bad, where honestly it looks like you guys were practicing some scummy practices all along. And what's worse is that you're probably going to walk away learning the wrong lessons from this. I just know it. Because, you know, you did this with the Sega Saturn so many years ago. You did this with Sonic 06. You did this with Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. How many more times are fans going to go through this? I don't think that very much at all. The reason why there's so much pressure on Sonic Rangers is because everybody is hoping for a really, really good Sonic game. Like, a really, really good Sonic game. If it doesn't blow anybody out of the water, if it's not at least good, then you know what? People are just going to walk away from the franchise forever. Nobody's going to come back and invest their time inside of it. Like, seriously. Stop and think about it, Sega. There's a lot on the line when it comes down to Sonic Rangers, so you better deliver. Or, well, in this case, Sonic Team really better deliver too. And you know what, Sega? If Sonic Team needs more time to work on Sonic Rangers, give it to them. Seriously. Because if you don't, well, Sonic Rangers is going to either end up as a mediocre and a bad game, and people are going to walk away from the franchise. And as a video game franchise, basically Sonic is dead. Which is going to be sad. Because, you know, there's a lot of people who have been inspired by Sonic. In fact, I've been inspired by Sonic. It's kind of the reason why I wanted to get into the game development shenanigans for quite some time now. Because, you know, I got kind of inspired by the mechanics, and I actually kind of wanted to incorporate that into a game as well. Unfortunately, though, it looks like, you know, Sonic is going down the tubes, and it's very easy to see why. Because Sega hasn't really given him the time and the attention and the love and the care that he deserves. You know, if you don't straighten out and give him the time, attention, love, and care that this franchise deserves, then guess what? You might as well just give up the franchise altogether. I know some people are going to say that's harsh, and also they're probably going to bring up the fact that I've said this once before in another video, back in February. But honestly, what I say is still true. I mean, if they're not going to take care of them, they might as well give up with it. They might as well give up with Sonic the Hedgehog. They might as well just hand him off to somebody else, or sell him off to somebody else. Because, well, unfortunately, this franchise still has a lot of impact in media on the gaming world, especially with the fact that when you consider the history, he still had a lot of impact. I mean, seriously, this is the character that made Sega compete with Nintendo. This is the character that basically made Sega grab Nintendo by the horns. And I mean, quite literally, they duked it out. I mean, it was like one of the funnest times in gaming advertising history because of how some of the advertising policies and all the advertisements were going. I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch. Because, you know, that's the thing. But when it comes down to it, yeah, I am kind of disappointed with Sonic. No, not kind of. Really disappointed with Sonic Colors Ultimate. I really have high hopes for Sonic Rangers, and there's a reason why there's a lot of pressure being put onto it. And a reason why a lot of people want Sonic Rangers to be really, really good. Also, I will also admit, too, I'm a little bit skeptical about Sonic Origins now, too. Because if they're going to pull this kind of same shit with Sonic Origins, then yeah, a lot of people are not going to be going into the remasters or the ports ever again. So, you know, Sega, you better straighten yourselves up. Oh yes, and they also wanted to do some more remasters and ports. Unfortunately, though, I don't know the likelihood of people buying that either. Because, again, I mean, damage control like this is super hard to do. I mean, once you lose faith with people, sometimes it's really, really, really hard to get it back. This is why sometimes it's better to produce only good games than bad games. And you know, in my defense, again, this is kind of a quote from somebody who actually is rather famous, and you know, a Rush game is going to be always forever bad. I mean, it's true. I mean, there are times when Rush games don't look necessarily bad, but there's a reason why. It's either because they worked off the exact same mechanics that made the first game so good, or it was just a smaller project in scope, which is also fine. But again, that's kind of where my opinion is, and that's kind of where I'm lying at. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who would walk away from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise if Sonic Rangers turns out to be an ultimate bust. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments down below, and hey, don't forget to hit that like button. And also, if you're new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, down below inside the comment section, I mean, well, not comments, but the, inside the description, I am hosting a game jam right now. It's called the Scare Me Shakeless Jam. Please be sure to join in if you have a horror game that you want to submit to this jam. No, I mean a horror game developed by you, okay? Doesn't matter if it's been previously developed, or if you're in the process of development and then you're just going to be releasing it conveniently within this time frame. The submissions end by October 10th, and I can't wait to see what you guys have for that game jam. So anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. This is Supercholatemilkshake, signing off.